Can a pool that looks like this be fixed without draining it? It sure can, but first a little backstory about this video. Previously, I built a pool pump and filter for my 16-foot round Bestway pool. I did this because the pool pump and filter the pool came with stopped working after about 3 months of use. Here is that DIY filtration system. It consists of a 10-inch by 4.5-inch whole house water filter housing and filter, a 3/4-inch water hose, and a 3/4 horsepower submersible pump. There are also some fittings needed to attach all of this together. This combo worked great, and if you're interested in building this, click the link above. All the necessary items to build this are listed in the video description, along with Amazon links to make this a very easy project. A pump and filter system like this would work great for stock tank pools because you do not have to drill any holes in the pool for the water discharge or return lines. In this video, I'm going to go over some of the drawbacks with this pool filter and pump system and what I did to help alleviate some of those issues. One of the biggest issues I had was having to clean these little filters constantly. Anybody that has a pool pump and filter that runs off of these little filters knows what it's like to constantly be cleaning these things, and it sucks. A safety point I would like to get across: anything that's shown or demonstrated on my videos is for informational and entertainment purposes only. If you choose to remake anything that is shown or demonstrated on my videos, you assume all liability and risk. If you do choose to make a pool pump and filter system like the one shown, the pool pump has to be unplugged and removed from the pool before anybody gets in or uses the pool. Thank you. This year, like many other people, my pool did not get a lot of attention in the winter months. By spring, my pool had this lovely pea soup look to it. Although I did think heavily about draining it and refilling it with new water, I thought I would try to save the water that's in it first. The first thing you have to do is add a ton of chlorine to kill off all the algae. I used about 8 gallons at first. Once I did this, it was clear the little 10-inch by 4.5-inch filter I have was not going to be able to keep up with the amount of contaminants which are going to have to be removed from this pool. I even changed to a 60-micron filter during the stage, but the small filter became clogged and in need of cleaning after about an hour of use. One of the best things about this pump and filter system is you can choose what filter you want to use. You have the choice of running a 70-micron filter all the way down to a 1-micron filter. You can make this pool filled with drinking water if you so choose. But the small 10-inch by 4.5-inch filter was not going to be able to keep up, so I decided to upgrade. This is what I upgraded to. Not one, but two 20-inch by 4.5-inch filters. Now I would have 4 times the amount of filter surface area to use. Hopefully this would accomplish 2 things. The first would be to allow the system to run for longer before the filters needed to be cleaned, and the other would be to increase the water flow through the system so the pump doesn't need to run for extended periods of time to turn over all the pool water. The materials I used to build this pump and filter system came from 2 different places: Home Depot and Amazon. The PVC couplings, pipe, fittings, and vinyl tubing came from Home Depot. The Lanchez pump, filters, hose, 40mm fittings, and filter housings came from Amazon. I will add the Amazon links and the Home Depot items to the description below. As a test, I hooked up one of the new filters with a 50-micron filter to the Lanchez pool pump. As you can see, I think it's moving more water than the old setup. These filters have a flow rate of 10 gallons a minute with the 10-inch filters and 20 gallons a minute with the 20-inch filters. So, in theory, the 10-inch filter can move 600 gallons of water, and the 20-inch filter can clean 1,200 gallons of water an hour. I'm going to use 2 of the 20-inch filters side by side. This system could potentially move 2,400 gallons of water an hour. The 3/4 horsepower Lanchez submersible pump is rated at 4,450 gallons per hour. The pump should be able to move 2,400 gallons of water an hour through this system. The first thing I had to do is build a box to hold these filters. I wanted a cabinet which could cover the old intake hose ports coming from the pool. I built a 2x4 frame, which I'm going to finish with shiplap to enclose and hide the filters. I also want to add a lid which can be opened, and the submersible pump and hose can be stored inside of the cabinet when not in use for a clean look. If you're interested in seeing this build, please drop a comment below and let me know. If not, we'll just move right along with the pump build. Once I had the frame for this cabinet built, I secured the filter housings to it. I had to use 2x6s to anchor the filters because the metal brackets on the filter housings were larger than 2x4s. Now that the filters are bolted to the cabinet frame, it's time to plumb them together. These filters have 1-inch intake and discharge ports. At first, I built these PVC nipples using 1-inch PVC and 1-inch slip thread couplings. I could not get these to stop leaking even with the use of Teflon tape. so I replaced them with 1-inch PVC nipples, and they have not leaked since. After these were in place, I used 2 1-inch slip tees, 4 45-degree couplings, and some 1-inch Schedule 40 PVC to build these 2 manifolds, which directed the water from the pump into each filter housing and then back together into the water return. I could have used 90-degree fittings instead of 45s, but I felt the gradual turn might help keep the flow of the water from the pump flowing through the filters. I connected these manifolds to the nipples coming out of the filter housings with the 1 1/4-inch vinyl tubing. I did this so the manifolds are not glued together, and if something had to be removed, it could be without having to cut any PVC. I could have used PVC unions to accomplish this as well, but a piece of the vinyl tubing was about 1/4 of the price of buying 4 1-inch PVC unions. I wanted to use a built-in pool discharge. I felt this would provide a cleaner look for the system. The pool came with this 1 1/4-inch to 40mm adapter. I used a piece of the 1 1/4 vinyl tubing to connect the discharge together. It wasn't long before I had to change this out because this connector would bend when it became hot and start leaking. I was able to find these 1 1/2-inch to 40mm adapters through Amazon. As soon as they arrived, I switched this out. This change was pretty simple. I just used a 1 1/2-inch threaded by slip coupler, then glued a 1 1/2-inch to 1-inch reducer inside the slip end of the coupler. Then I glued this onto the 1-inch stub out the vinyl tubing was on. Once all these pieces were glued together, I put a 2x4 under it for support. I also had to upgrade the water line coming from the pump to the filters. The 3/4-inch garden hose was not allowing enough water through it, so I upgraded it to a 1 1/4-inch seal-proof hose I was able to find on Amazon as well. Once all this was hooked up, it was time to try it out. It worked awesome. I ran 50-micron filters until all the big stuff was removed from the water, and then switched the filters out to 30 microns. Although you do have the options of 20, 10, 5, and even 1 micron, I feel any filter smaller than 30 microns is just overkill for a pool. Now it's time to go finish off this filter cabinet. If this video helped you out, if you can like and subscribe, it would definitely help out the channel. If you have any questions, please add them to the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. My name's Matt. I'm just a dude, and if I can't fix it, I'll fix it so no one else can. Thank you for watching.